Breaking tonight, Governor Jim Pillen signed a new executive order over immigration.
It will support President Trump's immigration policies. State agencies have until May 31st to meet the requirements of Pillen's order. Pillen says state agencies like the Nebraska State Patrol must cooperate with U.S. immigration and custom officers to the fullest extent of the law. Omaha police said earlier this week their policies will not change. They also assured us if you call police or are a witness to a crime, they will not ask you for your legal status. We have the full executive order on our website, firstalert6.com.